Yes.
Now, you know that when a gun is fired, you would need to put your finger on the trigger to pull the trigger, right?
That's how I would fire a gun.
And you also need your hand on the grip of the gun.
Objection, Your Honor. This is calling for an improper opinion by this witness. He is simply a CSI investigator. He knows nothing about gun safety or how a gun can fire, whether it can be discharged by mistake or how it is intentionally pulled. He is not an expert in guns or revolvers of this kind, and he can only testify to where he found the fingerprints. Therefore, this testimony about how a gun would be fired is asking for the witness to step out of his expertise.
Your response?
Yes, Your Honor. This witness testified that he's a forensic expert. Now, in order to be a forensic expert, you need to find physical evidence and draw conclusions based on that physical evidence. Now, in order for him to tell the members of the jury what fingerprint analysis means or what it indicates, he needs to know how those fingerprints or what those fingerprints would indicate for Jesse Duran on August 18, 2010. I'm just delving into that line of questioning, and he also just testified how he would fire a gun, and that's all I'm asking.
Your Honor, if I may
I'm
respond.
going to overrule the objection. He may answer. You may ask the question and you may answer.
Now, for someone to fire a gun, they would need their hand on the grip of the gun, right?
I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm not an expert in firearms, and as far as I'm aware, guns can be discharged accidentally in various ways. I don't know.
So, in order to fire a gun intentionally, with the purpose to fire it, how you will fire it, you have your hand on the grip of the gun,
That's right.
and your finger will pull the trigger.
That's correct.
Now, in today's case, you found none of Jesse Duran's fingerprints on the grip of that gun, right?
Well, the grip of the gun was actually a tacky surface, which made it impossible for me to find any fingerprints on that surface of the grip. Also, with the trigger of the gun, as we were just discussing, the small surface of the trigger also precluded me from pulling any fingerprints of any sort from that trigger.
Is your testimony that it was impossible to pull any fingerprints from the trigger?
Well, I didn't find any fingerprints on the trigger.
So you didn't find Jesse Duran's fingerprints on that trigger, right?
That's correct.
And you did not find Jesse Duran's fingerprints on the grip of that gun either?
That's correct. It was a tacky surface. No fingerprints.
No further questions. May I approach the witness and tender evidence to the bench?
You may.
Thank you.
May you redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
You may step down, Mr. Sebastian.
At this time, Your Honor, the plaintiff rests his case in chief and asks for a brief 5 to 10 minute recess for the defense comes upstairs.
Okay. Are you going to